Selectmen.
All right, thanks everybody for coming down. Is there any agenda additions or deletions? Don't hear any. Approval of the regular meeting of 8/26/24.
So moved.
I'll second those.
Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Site visit, minutes, 9/5/24.
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion?
Let the record reflect I'll recuse myself as I was not able to be present at that.
Yep. Comment on those before we vote.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to compliment the board assistant on doing a very good job under the conditions that she was working under over there doing the meeting. So I thought they were pretty well done. That's it.
Any other comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, for the record,
Yeah.
Rob had,
I jumped the gun and said aye, but recusing.
We'll let you get away with it.
There you go.
probably
Force a habit.
football game on.
Force a habit.
Oh, that's done.
Highway, Cass, what do you got for us?
First off, we'll start off, the more tractors up and going. There's been little quirks we've had with it. Thanks to Eddie Baker for his input of repairs and stuff. It's been quite a battle with it. Hopefully, there might be a little bit more needs to be done to it.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. Mower.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
So, didn't know. I didn't know if you want to light them about if there's any other rerouting of some of the that you're still investigating or.
A work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The mower was running quite a while and getting hot. So you got two hoses in there, didn't get changed. They're gonna be a problem sometime down the road, but after the mowing's done, put it in the shop, tear them out of there and fix them at $14 a gallon for oil and the hazmat it causes. You know, it's money in the bank. Tractor runs good, it mows good. I'm glad I ran it a little bit to find them other 2 week hoses. And the other day I think he changed some on the mower head because they were starting to leak. But I mean, that's a given. They're working all the time when that mower's going up and down. So my hope is it'll work fine for you.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you very much, Ed. Nice work.
Second, we have the project of removing trees and whatever debris out of creek on South Creek Road. Reached out, Ashley did to 7 different contractors. We only received 1 bid back.
That was a grant, right?
That's a grant project,
Yep.
yes. And I don't know, do you want me to go ahead and announce this, the price and who the,
If you only got one, we gotta kinda, and we're up against the
we
timeline.
need to go with it because we also need to get this done within, like 38 days. Gotta be completed.
We'll be up against the, okay.
Yep.
Did the price seem reasonable or?
The price actually come in at 42,000 for the removal, and our grant is 63, I believe it was,
Yep.
something like that. And the contractor is Kurt Hathaway from Rutland Town.
Yeah.
So I guess my thought is to move forward. If select board would
It's the only one you got. We
like
gotta
to
move forward. So make a
this
motion
bid
to
and
make a motion to
move on.
approve Kurt Hathaway to do the work on the log jam removal on Creek Road.
Second.
Any further discussion?
just a little bit more add to it. There's not just that one spot. There's another spot upriver.
Gonna do 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's included in this.
When will it start? When will you start?
Well, now we can reach out to him and it's okay now, cause he knows what we got for deadlines.
Okay. All right, motion made, seconded. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, what else?
As we speak right now, paving's begun on Cold River Road today from North Shrewsbury Road intersection to the Shrewsbury town line. They had the base coat down and they're doing paving for the top coat. With that being said, right now, as we speak, they're also grinding Creek Road
Yeah.
from Hawkins all the way through.
They're
Well, they are reclaiming up to just past Alphresia, and then the rest of it's gonna be a shim and overlay.
They were about done when I came through.
Okay. And the other thing is, when, hopefully tomorrow we can get up there to shim up the driveways, because I've already had 2 calls of people because of the tires built up on Cold River
On
Road.
Cold River.
Yeah, just to give that heads up. Also, we have a couple potholes on Squares Road that we gotta, I'm hoping I can rob a little bit of that asphalt, hot asphalt from Tommy with one, out of the one trucks, just to patch up, fill them holes. Coal patch don't seem to be holding. That's about, we're hoping they'll be done up there tomorrow, mid-morning, and then they'll start, I guess, paving Creek Road, and probably the whole project should be done if everything goes right by Thursday or Friday, depends on the weather. Two big paving projects. And that Creek Road is the grant project.
Do you want to speak at all to, where we went for the site visit?
Oh, on Scenic
Yep.
View Road, we did a site visit up there. We had a concerned resident up there. It's basically lifting his driveway culvert and adding some fill along the bank up there. And we'll work that in with one of our projects for material wise.
In the spring, right?
In the spring, or if we have time this fall.
I know that Ashley sent him a copy of the minutes. Have we heard any response or any other questions or? No? Okay,
Nope, he was happy with the outcome.
good.
Yep.
That's about all I have, unless,
Tony, did you want to speak to anything here tonight?
I have, and he has, and I haven't had a chance to come see you.
All right, I
Oh.
mean, it's not a big rush.
Right.
It should be filled in, okay?
You're talking about the center triangle?
Yeah, the one by the hotel. I mean, I've maintained it for the last 50 years,
Mhm.
and that's fine. But it's pretty dangerous now. It seems to have sunk somewhat, and when we're mowing it, it has a tendency,
I don't want to get off course here, but is there any way we could actually turn that into a T instead of having 2 driveways? I know the aesthetics and history of the 2 driveways coming in. Is there any way we could bring that, it's like we did, it was done in the village, as a straight?
I don't own it, you guys own it. It's a town property. I mean, what would I prefer? I mean, I'm kind of a purist, okay? I'm trying to keep that area just the way. In fact, I just located an old survey map, and it just goes back forever, and it's just always there. And, you know, you guys are the boss, but I mean, I just as soon leave it, I don't know.
Right.
So you're just looking for the center of the T basically to be
Well, right now it's a V.
Yeah, it's a V.
yeah.
You know, as you're pulling in.
But you're looking for the center to be brought up.
Yeah. I mean, the town's truck went off the road in there a few times, you know, in the winter, and you have
A
to
few
get
years
it,
ago.
you have to get it towed out of there. But it's just,
Are we doing any
Um,
work up there where we can get a couple dump truckloads of fill and
Oh, it's
just,
gonna take quite a bit.
yeah, well,
It's gonna take some.
yeah, well,
And the problem is, a lot of the material has, you know, tree roots and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a project that's gonna not be done overnight to bring fill in.
to get it up to where it needs to be.
And it'd be probably be nice if it was almost level.
Yeah, well, the one across the road is.
Yeah.
And it really, I think it's safer because when you're pulling out of there, when I'm pulling out to make a left-hand turn, it's hard to see over that hill. So I use the right lane.
The other lane.
That gives you more distance.
But I just thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, no, I mean it.
To just be open-minded.
Yeah,
Just
no, that's,
and actually, you know, it'd help us in a way, be easier maintenance.
yeah.
So like Mike said, is there any ditch cleanings or anything that, cause obviously whatever you put in there, you're gonna have to put topsoil over top.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Right.
that's gonna have to happen at the end.
Right. Yeah, it's almost too bad we didn't know about this when we were doing the core line project.
Cause it could've
Oh,
gone
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Could've had some,
Like I said, I mean, I'm in no rush. I mean,
and it might be, and like I said, it might take, you know, once we start it, it might be, depends on the project, it might be a month or 3 months before it gets totally completed.
right, no, I understand.
That's like some of the fill that we dumped past the hotel
Yeah.
there. That could've went there, some of it,
Yeah, no, that's
so,
Okay.
fine. I mean,
we'll
For
put it on the
me,
radar like that.
you
and
get a
go
lot
from
of
there.
tourists coming through there this time of the year. I mean, even if, you know, you waited 2 months.
Wait till after.
Yeah, that's whatever. Whatever's easiest for you.
It's, you understand?
Oh, yeah.
Put it on your board down there?
Board, it's already on the board down there.
Okay, that's good.
A question on the, hang on. Now, I'm trying to remember what you said about what you're still gonna do on the quarter line in terms of the trees and stuff. Have you heard back from anyone?
Haven't heard nothing from the loggers or the foresters.
So, is it, we're just waiting, or should we do a follow-up, or,
I'll follow up with
yeah,
the foresters with it.
and, and so, the plan is still to have the ditch go all the way down towards
Mm-hmm.
the, I don't know,
Towards the bottom there, then, and I'm thinking, we're looking at that, and actually there's a sag there, so we might even have to have another cross culvert.
oh, go, yeah, gotcha,
Because otherwise, if we send it all the way down to Alex's place,
yeah,
and it goes across his culvert, then it goes into his field, then if we end up with gravel, we'll have issues there too. You know,
Yep.
runoff and stuff like that.
That's work in progress.
so you're not gonna do much of anything more until next summer, probably?
It's held off until the trees, if they figure out what they're gonna do with,
Okay,
because that's beyond the town's ability to take those trees down.
Good sized trees.
well, the bank on my
Huge
side
trees.
seems to be showing some grass, I guess you
Yeah.
put seeds down,
Yep, we seeded it all.
so.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Alright. Approval of select board warrants. Alright, they're right here if anybody wants to look at them, public. Guest. Barbara Pulling. RRPC update to the regional plan.
So I'm gonna read along.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
I think we got this done, right?
Thank you.
So
Oh,
that's
okay.
one.
So I'm back, because we're still working on the regional plan.
Yep.
We finished phase one, we're in the phase two, and we're still looking for your input with that. Phase one, we did 27 town presentations, 21 pop-up events, 5 community open houses, and our survey got 1,200 responses. Phase two, we're gonna do 27 town presentations, such as tonight, 5 pop-ups, 2 feedback sessions, and another survey. So that's basically what I'm here for tonight. So, as you recall, the regional plan is done every 8 years, and it looks at a variety of things in the region: economic development, energy, and some other topics. We could skip right almost to the back for working lands and just give you a brief overview. we'll look at one of the chapters. So that one's to encourage and strengthen the agricultural and forest industries. So in phase 1 on the left of that sheet, that's what we heard from the public in the first go around. There's a high demand for locally sourced foods, farmers markets, community gardens, and CSAs.
Right there.
Yep. Thank you.
And the public said a strong ag system in Vermont provides access to locally sourced foods and farmland. So we took that and came up with draft chapters and some draft policies, which are in the survey, and you can go and rate those or make suggestions or additions. And came up with 4 policies. One is to stop the loss of farmland and forest land to development. 2, ensure that the working landscape, ag, forestry, and value-added production is a strong asset for the region's economy. 3, ensure that the working landscape improves the health of residents. And 4, enhance the health and diversity of the region's ecosystems to benefit ag and forestry. So ag and forestry needs clean water, clean air, all of those sorts of things that we value in our natural resources anyway. So that's a quick overview. The survey is out there, and there's some extra cards I'll leave there where you can go directly online to the survey, or you can email any suggestions. There's an email address there that you would have. And that may be too quick, I don't know.
No, I think you covered it. Thank you for coming, Barbara. Appreciate it.
There's cards out on my desk out there.
I mean, you can see if anybody's got any questions, but I think you hit all the main points, so.
I'm just briefly looking through this real quick. What input have you been getting from, say, for instance, from Clarendon? Anything through the planning commission, or?
Well, in the first survey, the goal was 10% of the residents, and we got at least that. I can't remember exactly. So it was pretty good. We probably don't expect 1,200, respondents for the second survey. We're looking more for people to look at the chapters and look at the policies. And it may take a little more work to comment on those than before.
When is your anticipated publishing date of the results?
The report will need to come out by 2026, and then it runs through 2034.
Okay.
The 8-year period. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who is basically working on this?
I'm sorry.
Who is basically working, putting this together? Is there representatives from the town that are involved with this, or?
There are, it's through the outreach that we've been getting most of the input, through these sorts of meetings, through community meetings, and sending lots of emails out. Specifically from Clarendon, we don't have like a board or anything like that. Yeah, we just try to spread it out and get as much input as possible. We have our board and
members that
Clarendon
are on.
representatives.
Yeah.
That's part of this.
That's all the questions I have. I'll take this home and read it a little bit more when I have some time.
Yeah.
And all the comments we made on our survey that sent back in.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
survey.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that was quick. But we know where to go if we do have some serious questions.
And I have a feeling I'll be back for phase 3, whatever that is.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it. Is there any public comments tonight? All right. Old business. painting, siding bids for the town hall. And I assume that this pile here, just never want to assume. Want to open that one up? George, want to open that one? Open that one. Art, you wanna review this one? And while we're looking at that, we'll come back to it. Tom, do you, wanna give us a little update?
Yes, I will.
We do have someone here.
Pardon?
We do have one of the contractors here for that also.
Yeah, this is, but while they're reviewing it, I don't think it's gonna be a long presentation.
It won't be long.
No.
Thank you for making time on the agenda for me. Appreciate it. My name's Tom Garden. My company is Triland Partners. I develop solar projects in Vermont and have been active since 2010. I was in front of your board in November of 2022 for the exact same reason I'm back here tonight, which was to request that you vote to sign the letter designating this particular site that we're going to talk about as a preferred site for solar, which you did. In the interim, the repercussions of the COVID era slowed everything down in the industry to the point where that project just had to be put on hold for a while. Mm-hmm. The rules have changed in little nuanced ways. Last time you signed the preferred site letter, it was only required that I come and talk to you, the planning commission separately, and then the regional planning commission, where Barbara is, for you to sign that letter. Under the new guidelines established this year, I'm required to first notify everybody with the 45-day notice that used to go out afterwards. So all the adjoining landowners now, all the state agencies, Public Utility Commission, Department of Public Service, have all been notified that I'm seeking a preferred site and I'll be applying for a certificate of public good. So again, my first step in the whole process is to meet with you to hopefully again have you vote in the affirmative to sign and designate this particular site as a preferred site for solar. I'll note that Dan Pinkowski, one of the three owners of the site, is here tonight, and I know that Bev Brown, one of our adjoining landowners, is here tonight, and I hope that they may have something to say. But you would have received the 45-day letter. I hope you had a chance to see it. If you'd like, I can walk you through all of the aspects of it, or you can ask questions. It's up to you. One thing that you didn't see in the letter, but is referenced in the letter, is that at this point, as soon as I have my preferred site designations from the three bodies, I'll be starting, in fact, I already have started, all of my environmental studies and my interconnection studies through with Green Mountain Power. That's already started, it's in the works, as have all the other things. But we're looking at a piece of land that has no wetlands, has no prime ag soils, it will have, no impact on any natural resources, no vernal pools, none of the important things that the state really likes to investigate in depth. So it's a very straightforward process as far as what the permitting will be like with the state. I think the major concern will, from my standpoint, will just be the interconnection studies and what kind of fees I'll be running into in order to be able to interconnect safely onto the grid. This will be a net meter project, exactly like the project that's on what was the same parcel, it's now been subdivided, that I developed back in 2015 and 16 with GE, and that's now the GE solar plant, and has been operating. The intention is to almost make these look, they'll be separate but indistinguishable, in that what we did when we built the GE project was we purposely created a very low profile.
That's the one that's down over the hill.
No, it's the one that's right behind the Pinkowski red barn.
Oh, okay.
All right, hidden there. Very low profile. This one doesn't have a hill or a grade or anything else. It's a very flat site. So As I promised last time I was here back in November of 2022, we're going to incorporate some landscape mitigation measures in order to soften the impact of what will be a solar array 100 feet setback from Middle Road. By law, I'm required to be 50 feet. I've doubled that amount, and we'll be putting something probably, you know, what we say in the 45-day letter, and I'll get an arborist to confirm all this, but it'll be a tree that's native to Vermont, will grow, will be not too high. We don't want to block people's views per se. We just want to mitigate the fact that, you know, you're driving up the road and all of a sudden there's all this steel,
You're talking
aluminum
a tree
glass.
versus a bush or shrub or,
I think it may be a combination of both.
okay,
But if it's a tree, it won't be a species that grows more than, say, 15 feet high.
yeah.
Don't wanna block the sun.
Yeah.
You're right, yes, as a matter of fact.
Danny, do you have anything that you wanna?
No, it's basically the same profile, low profile, field that we were, proposing a few years back. Just put it on hold, and, wanted to start it up again when the times were favorable. And, yeah, we don't want a line of cedars, we don't want evergreens, we want some buffers. Like they do in between the sidewalk and the highways, like say down Route 7 or whatever. The smaller, the hybrid, the hybrid trees, get 15, 20 feet tall. They don't become a nuisance to the power lines, but also we don't want something solid.
There's gonna be a small dirt, there's gonna be a small dirt, pile going across it, or it's just trees?
No, just trees. That's what we envision, going up the side of the middle road.
And that's just north of the barn?
Just north of the existing field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked with your neighbors and there's anybody that's got any kind of concern?
I haven't heard any concerns. Everybody always wants gut concerns. They don't want anything to change. But as you know, the place wouldn't look like it does if we didn't have change.
Yep.
So.
I mean, most of the most part, you probably had discussions with them 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, across, over the
Yeah.
last couple years.
It's between.
Just between ourselves. I mentioned, hey, we're thinking of putting another solar field, but I haven't heard any feedback or anything.
Now this runs up to Peterson, sits in between.
Nope, it doesn't go right to Peterson's.
Well-
Actually goes up to the divot between the Trestle Bridge and the problematic bridge by Murray's. The culvert there, that narrow.
Mhm.
Can I make a comment?
Go
I
ahead.
feel that the only one to be impacted probably be Bev Brown.
I'm sorry?
Morning impacted would be Bev Brown, because she's gonna be right across the road by Dan's house.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything to add to this?
Can I see it from my house?
You might.
Be great if they worked at night too.
Bev, as a neighbor, what are you giving it the thumbs up?
Reluctantly, yes.
Okay.
I understand why it's being done.
Well, that's good.
So much for another hayfield for me. And I get it.
Now you don't have to
I totally
mow.
get it.
Tom, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to add that I met Bev just tonight,
Yeah.
and we talked about it. She has some good questions.
Yep.
And I've told her I'm going to be very straightforward and communicating with her during the permitting process.
Mm-hmm.
She had some questions on the site plan because it is different than what it will be, and she picked up on some of those things. When the official application goes in, probably late October, early November, everybody will be copied on that, joining landowners and the boards and everything, and you'll be able to see all that. But I want to make sure that that I'm responsible to adjacent landowners. That's just the right thing to do. It's always the way I've done it.
Okay, that's good. Is there anything else right now that the select board has to take?
Only if you were to make a vote tonight and could sign the letter, and I'll be with the planning commission in 2 weeks, in a regional commission in October 23rd.
Is this, what signatures do you need on this?
It's just one signature,
Okay.
and it's pretty much the exact same letter that you signed in November of 2022. I have copies of that if anybody'd like to see it first, but this is the execution copy.
So this is not in this stack?
No, it's not.
Okay.
But that's the letter that it was signed for. And this just says that, the letter essentially says that we've reviewed it, we've discussed it with the developer, and that we're in favor of designating this a preferred site. And then the last sentence says, or last paragraph says, this is by no means endorsing the project, permitting the project, approving it, just saying that at this point in time,
Keep going.
it's a preferred site. Yeah, and good luck to him. Good luck to me.
I move that we approve the process with appropriate signature.
And it's just one signature, so assuming that it's gonna be a board chair.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, let me see if I remember how to spell my name. And
Use capital letters in the appropriate place.
Almost said no because you were 2 minutes late when you came to this meeting.
You're gonna get us a copy,
I can make one right now.
wanna get a copy for this? Yeah. Good. All right. Tom?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. After she makes that copy, then we'll... Back to old business. Did you...
I think we got to kind of designate these, because some of these are painting bids, and I think some of these are siding bids. So what do you have, George?
I have painting.
You have, are they all painting?
The one that I have is.
And what's your total?
Hang on, let me just double check.
69.
Yeah, it looks like five. Right, total 69,850.
Who's that with?
This is Flying Colors Painting with Vito Spalleri, is that correct?
Okay.
I think.
And what's your other one you got down there?
That's cash.
I got a painting from Vermont Painting Company with a complete quote. What was that figure? I just saw it. I just saw it. And I don't have no date on here. It says a start date is September 13th, completion is September 27th, which is already passed.
Yeah.
And the total on this is $21,800 of paint, labor and paint materials.
Okay.
The first one
Also
was
have a
69?
certificate of insurance.
Yeah. What was that first one, 69,000 for paint?
It says total labor and materials, 69,850.
Then I have Mountain View Painting, which I'll just give you the total because I think probably everybody here would agree the building would need 2 coats. So if you were to do 2 coats, it's 48,000. And then, talking about siding, we have a bid from Mr. Webster and Primo of a total of $89,325.95 for siding the building.
That's vinyl siding, repairs on rock.
Well, I think we probably should let.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His quote was pretty detailed.
Yeah, it's very detailed if you want to look at it.
Okay.
He did it.
I just asked him.
Probably got it.
But maybe you want to talk about the product and.
Yeah, excuse me. We can talk about the product a little bit. So, just in general, I guess, some of the concerns I guess you guys can address to me is, you know, trying to stay with something that looks historically correct, right? So, in that mindset, you know, trying to go with a little bit thicker of a gauge, something that's gonna hold up a little bit better and something that has a little bit better of like a wood grain in it, so it kind of keep that look. So this is stuff that you guys can just have and keep, let you take a look at it. So that's some of the products. 046 is what I bid, which is pretty much the heaviest product you can get. The rot repair, we would never like just go over something if it was rotten, but it would be additional T&M on top of what you're seeing for a bid.
When you talk about repair, what was that? Are you gonna put the original, shape of the wood and everything in place?
Yeah, so I think one of the concerns we talked about is the rounded stuff in the front, right? So
Yeah,
when you're doing the vinyl siding, because you're not tearing off the old siding and you're not interrupting it, so you run into a little bit of a depth issue.
yeah.
So we would have to match those up with some kind of board to get that same
I'm with
rounded
you.
look, and then wrap it or do something
Okay.
to keep it, you know, the longevity of it. Because the whole point of kind of doing vinyl is so you don't have to mess with it again, right? So
Right, that's what,
So what is the life expectancy or prediction or whatever for?
I tried looking it up before I came here because I didn't have it. So most average products give about 40 years on any fading or anything like that. I'll warranty craftsmanship for the life of the product. So if you have any issues, something pops off, something goes wrong, even if it's storm related, we usually come back and take care of you guys.
how long would it take you to do it? 'Cause this is including all the trim and all this.
Yeah, that's everything. So it's pretty, I mean, going around with the machine takes some time because you can't really get to it too much. I mean, you pump jack a lot of it, but some of that higher stuff, you know, getting the metal's going to take the most time. And then I would estimate, I would like a month space to do it. I don't think we would tie up that much since we're not ripping off, but I'd like to reserve that between weather days or whatever delays, whatever like that.
When would you consider starting if you were?
For us, it'd be a spring job for sure.
Good. Now, there was, on this particular quote, there was a concern with the sand pile in terms of getting a lift around the building. Is that something you looked at?
I remember we talked about that?
It can be moved.
Out here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have it out there in a half hour.
Yeah, as long as we get access to it with the lift, I think we're okay on everything. That's the
There
main
is
thing,
a,
it's just gonna lift.
there is a septic unit
Yeah,
right behind it.
so we just mark it out, make sure the guys stay away from it type deal, and something common that you run into all the time. So.
What do you have for a crew?
As far as people goes?
Yeah.
So I got my main 6 crew leaders and I got 20 other people on top of that. Not all in one spot at the same time, but if we need to be, we can be.
Did Heidi
Pass
give
it
you
down.
any indication as to how much?
It would be rude to just put it in front of you.
In the fund,
Yeah,
there's approximately 225,000 in the municipal buildings fund available.
okay. Art, did you have any?
Well, if you're looking at painting every 10 years, this is good for 40 years, so you're looking at 4 paintings, and the cheapest one is 21,000. You're better off, and that price is gonna go up.
What was the total on this?
89,000.
And
89.
speaking with the
Just under
painters also,
90,000.
and they were all invited here.
Yeah.
But speaking with the painters, they were saying like if, you know, rotating 4 years, it really needs to be maintained.
Now, I can say that when I was in Randolph, the house that I had was built in just 1800 with clapboards, and it's a constant battle if you're using paint on those, particularly if they've started to get any rot in them. You just have to put some new material in there, and the material right beside of it may be in decent condition, but it tends to go again. I mean, go faster than the original. So you got painting, I would guess, every 3-4 years I was doing just to keep up with it. You know, scraping and cleaning it, all the
It
rest.
goes that way for sure.
With leaving the exterior that's on it now and going over that, the step out the windows and all that stuff, is that?
That's where a lot of the cost comes in. That is the thing. So we talked about going over the top of it because I guess there's some lead issues involved, which honestly really surprises me that that guy's painting bid is $20,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of work there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking, I've done the lead abatement courses, and pretty much jacks your prices right through the roof as soon as you start talking lead. The other thing, and not to like sell you against paint, sell you against vinyl, if, to my understanding with the lead, so if they paint it, and they're gonna scrape it, I assume, right? Scrape
Oh, yeah.
it, so they'd have to do all the lead abatement where they wrap the
Right,
building with
yeah.
the tarp and all that stuff, and then they go back and say, 4 years or 10 years, however long you're doing it, and they scrape it again. Well, because it was a previous old building and it had lead in it, they have to still test it and thing. So they could get a chunk of the old lead, and then they
Yep.
say, oh, you gotta do the lead abatement all over again.
Yep.
So it's not something that could be,
So when you guys, I mean, if there's some boards that are rotten, I understand that you're gonna just replace
those.
that. But when, there's paint chipping off the side of the building now, you just go over that
We can go
with
over
the
it,
siding?
over it, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, it's kind of like if it's real flaky, we'll take a brush to it.
yeah.
But we're not scraping it by any means.
Of course, the sheeting or the covering underneath the clapboards, you may have some problems there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, typically not, a foam board over everything and then use a little bit longer nails. And again, if we find something that, you're gonna just sink it in and it's just sinking into something rotten, we're not gonna just continue and say, well, deal with that 10 years down the road. We're gonna figure out why it's not sticking. And
Would you
Okay.
consider putting, the foam board on the outside? Is that how you,
that's what I bid for, yeah.
yeah?
So you have to with any time. So you either strap it or your foam board. A foam board's just a better way to do it.
Yep.
So that insulates the building better
A little
too.
bit, yeah.
How thick is that?
3/4?
3/4.
Yeah, so you only get like an R value of probably 4 or something out of it. Nothing too crazy, but
Well,
Four is better
if you
than
pulled,
nothing.
if you pulled off some of the siding here, and it's, the insulation they had in some of the part of this building were corn stalks. So,
I've had a couple where we opened up and they've had it where they had the holes in it. And I think it was for mica or something like that, and it would just sit there and roll out. So you're like starting to stick your hand up to it like a kid, that stuck his finger in the hole in the leaking water. Just, oh, you gotta get that one. And from all my customers I've had, anytime I put that 3/4 on, they actually saw quite a bit of a difference as far as I think it's mostly just because you airtight it, because you're putting the foam board on, then you're sealing everything with tape. I think that really makes the big difference.
And also wind,
Right.
yeah.
It just seals up the building.
and you work down here all the
Well,
time.
I tend not to be excited about painting, I can tell you that right now.
Me either.
I've been an advocate for vinyl siding this building since I've been here as a select board, and even before as a taxpayer.
I mean, if you want like kind of an example, if you look at Reynolds Accounting Firm, that's an older building, probably not as old as this one, but it has a lot of detail on it, and they wanted to preserve that look.
Yeah.
So we went through and took our time and did something very similar, so you can kind of see how that look got preserved. And if you want pictures, I can send you pictures or whatever. A lot of detail, a lot of wrap work, a lot of time, but there is a way to preserve, some of that stuff that you guys want to see.
And I put in my mind's eye here the notion of if it was all painted, as we've talked about, versus having a siding on it, a siding in my mind would be a better presentation for the public. It really would, I think.
Tony, is that Donald Trump Jr.?
Could be.
Pass right out.
Josh, would there be anything that would still be painted? That where we wouldn't be able to pressure wash it after?
Those rounded windows are sometimes a pain to wrap.
Yep.
So if we fight that a lot and we find that wrapping it kind of just doesn't look good and you're just getting a lot of layers over top of layers to try to make that transition, we'll clean those up and we'll paint those.
But it's still getting covered where it can be, it's not
You can still
exposed
pressure
lead
wash
of
it,
any
yeah,
kind.
you can do whatever
okay.
you needed to do. I mean, once typically on something like that, we go above and beyond, the heavier you do to your paint, something like that, just to make sure it sticks, prime the crap out of it. But when you start getting into those rounded stuff, when you try to do that metal, sometimes it just doesn't look good.
Is there anything other than what you've already said that would be something you would be thinking about? We may have make an adjustment or solve something here.
I mean, I would, if you're budgeting for it, I would probably throw an additional $5,000 on that for anything that possibly could come up, where you're replacing wood, building stuff out, some just time material. I always tell someone to build something, especially when you're getting into this complex of a project.
Yep.
Nothing too crazy without really walking around the building with you guys and saying, this, you're going to see this go, you're going to probably see that we can stick with that. on that accounting firm I was talking about, they had like these little castle cornered things that were like, you know, every inch, and they went around the whole building. Well, when you go to wrap that, you're not going to wrap each individual thing, so that ends up being a full solid piece. It still has that look, but so stuff like that kind of disappears, but you still kind of got a little bit of a...
If this was still dedicated to historic preservation and all this kind of stuff, we'd have a lot more problem. But after we took the slate roof off
Yeah.
on the front, then the state said, well, it's
Yeah.
not historic anymore.
Yeah, and they're picky with that
Yeah,
stuff too.
oh yeah. So I think that, I like the 40-year consideration.
Yeah, and I can get you, I'll send you some warranty info so you can actually see it in writing and what they actually offer.
So what you're saying is the quote price, we need to have, $5,000 as a backup in terms of unanticipated expenses.
I would, yeah. And I'm going heavy on that.
Okay, that was my next question.
We know there's rot up in the top.
Yeah.
And you can't predict everything. I mean, one thing is you're not taking it off, so that saves a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you start taking stuff off, you wind into finding a lot more stuff than you want. But, you know, the real big thing is, you know, I want the product to be warrantyable, so I want to follow all manufacturer specifications. And obviously, if I'm going to stand behind it for a lifetime, then I want it to hold up too. So I don't want any windy days coming along and having it blow off and then have you guys coming and say, hey, by the way, you got to get that lift on your dime and go back up and fix that piece that came off. So, you know, those are the big things for me. Again, without walking around the building, you know, we could go over specific stuff. So kind of my process would be, you know, get you the budget numbers, kind of get you where you guys, you know, feel comfortable, a little bit of discussion, and then kind of walk around on a final discussion and say, this is exactly what to expect. This is, let's look at this, let's look at that.
So your bid right now is $89,325.
Yeah.
Plus 5 in reserve.
Yeah, so let's figure 95,000 rounded off.
And last year, you guys were given a bid for like an ish from Joe Parker, and it was like around 112, just for bidding purposes.
Yep. Are you gonna be working off of lifts of some kind versus any kind of staging, or?
We use whatever, so we have pipe staging, pump jacks as well, and then this will obviously require a man lift too for the
And
tall
you got
stuff.
the certificate for the insurance thing?
Did I send that? No, but I got insurance.
Okay.
So we carry I know a lot, sometimes people ask that, but it's $2 million liability, same thing with workman's comps, $2 million. I think it's 1 million aggregate or something like that. But I can supply that to you.
So-
Is everything, is like almost like a blueprint, all the windows are measured out?
Yeah,
Quite-
yeah, the program
It's
works
quite
really
impressive.
well. Yeah, the old days of walking around measuring stuff.
I was wondering how you did that.
Yeah, I can actually send you a digital 3D model where you can spin it and look at the building however you want to.
Does anything have to be signed in that tonight?
So what I would recommend is let's get the warranty information and
Yep,
then
I agree.
put this back on the agenda for next meeting, is what I would say. I mean, that's my thought.
And if you haven't done so on this,
Is it the warranty on the product itself?
Yeah, that's what he's gonna look up.
It's not
if you
on the
haven't
package?
done so, on I
It
haven't
is
looked at it
definitely
yet.
there.
In terms of possible anticipated problems, maybe a quick little list of what might be,
Yeah, I think that would be the final walk, or the walk around.
You'll add that into your contract, that
Yeah, expect this.
extra.
This.
yeah.
We definitely.
So we have some idea, so that when later, when we're in the middle of this thing, you can say, well, you remember I said this and that, and, you know.
Right, exactly. And a lot of times, so we try to get to a point too. So if we're getting in that 75% range of getting, you know, towards on the budget end of it, or what we bid on the end of it, and all of a sudden something's not looking right, like I notify you guys too, like, hey, look, you know, for whatever reason, this is, you know, you have this much rot here, and we just keep chasing the rot around. This is, you know, you guys anticipated 10 or whatever. I would notify you. I wouldn't just kind of finish off the job and then hit you with a bill at the end and say, oh, well, you had this. And, you know, one of the programs we use is called Jobber, so all the guys have access to it. So as they're working, anything that comes up, they take pictures of it. So it's tracked the whole time. So any like T&M type stuff, rot wood, or anything that would be additional and beyond the estimate gets recorded. So again, I'm not just throwing a bill at you and saying this is what we did and nobody ever saw it. This is what we did. Look at this.
That's good.
And if we get into something, we can set limits to a perimeters where you say, hey, you know, anything over $1,000, like out of whack, like you went to a wall and it's rotted and it looks like it's going to cost $1,000. Let's get someone to have some eyes on it before you just close it up. Anything below $1,000, just close it up and keep continuing working, you know, type deal.
I mean, we're just being cautious because the folks that we report to can get.
Oh, 100%.
They can really spot stuff quicker than we can quite often.
No, that's totally understood. And I mean, we work with a lot of larger places, towns, condo associations, stuff like that, where, you know, there's a lot of people involved, so a lot of questions have to be answered.
And also, thank you for showing up this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I scarfed down some food,
So-
ran my way over here.
So as soon as you get some paperwork back to us,
Yeah, so let's go over the key things. So you want insurance certificate, which I can do easily. And then you just kind of want warranty information. And then maybe you just take a walk around and kind of get a checklist where I think we may run into some issues. Is that pretty
I
much
think that would be good.
cover it?
I think that, I mean, just because of the nature of what we're looking at, I would say so.
agree.
Okay.
I think that would be great.
Under the soffits, you got rock.
Yeah, I mean, we already know,
Find that.
we already know where there's spots. So.
Yeah.
the Birdie's entrance.
I mean, the thing in my mind is I think that, you know, it's a town building, and to me, that should show some town pride by taking care of it.
Sure, sure.
That's where I'm at.
What's the date of our next meeting?
That's what I was just gonna look up.
The 14th of October.
Okay, so
October
prior
14th.
to
kind of
that.
stuff.
Boy,
how much time I got.
September's gone.
Yeah, so we'll be here the 14th.
Okay. I can come back if you guys are around. If you
Sure.
want. If not, I can just send you the paperwork and you can do whatever you need to do.
As far as I know.
Do you want to meet with him here outside before then to do a walk around?
Want to be a little early because it's starting to get dark.
Yeah,
Well, I would say anytime Josh wants to stop in, you guys can
Yeah.
walk around. He's just gonna
Right.
provide a list. I
Yeah.
mean, just
Right.
a, hey, north wall,
Yeah.
soffit corner to the, you know,
Up here bad.
that's clearly a problem.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, that's one good thing about that drawing too, is like we have a clear communication. So, you know, labeled, I think it's like surface 1, 2 or something like that. And
Yep.
You know exactly what we're talking about.
I'd like to have a motion that, so that we can, if the painters call and see what's going on, we're considering this by our next meeting, siding.
I would guess, I would move that after some serious deliberation that we're going to consider going with siding, I guess. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Let's say-
final decision will be on the 14th
For the 14th, yeah.
of October.
Because the bids went out as painting and or siding.
Yep.
Right. So specify that one. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second. What was the exact motion?
The motion is that we were going to go with the
We're gonna go with siding.
siding versus
Provided-
painting, and that the original quote or request for proposal was for siding and or painting, so that we can do that legitimately to say that we're going to go with siding.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you
I
get
think
that?
We should go with siding.
Sure she did.
I
She's
move we
good.
go with siding. Yeah, that's
All
what
in
he
there.
wants to say.
Yeah. All right, a motion, long-winded motion, and it got seconded. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just got a text. I gotta go dust control Creek Road. I'd like to do it before it gets too dark.
Okay.
The last run there.
So you're just going to dust out of here?
I'm gonna dust out of here.
Okay.
If I can't answer any other questions, I'm gonna follow them out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate the time.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you for your explanation to all.
You know, we can always get a swifter.
Insurance certificate over immediately. So you have that, and then.
Hey, guys, can you do this? Can you do that?
So let me ask you a question. Come on up here. We got to talk about this. See what's going on.
Let him sit in Cash's seat.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
You want
So tell me, how old are you? 7, and you must be going to school sometime.
No,
He's
homeschooled.
Well, that's fine, that's great. So what do you like best about learning stuff? You like arithmetic? You don't? Can I give you a little arithmetic test?
You don't know what a rhythm
Okay,
is.
are you ready? What do you get when you put 1 and 1 together? No, when you put 1 and 1 together, you get 11.
Hey, tell me the one about the wife and
What's the difference between arguing with your wife and arguing with a knife?
Well, let me think about it a minute. Generally because you always lose when you're arguing with your wife.
At least the knife has a point.
Moving right along. That's a good one. He got you, George.
He sure
finally
did.
got you.
Sure did.
All right. Town officer, Heidi's not here, obviously. Ashley, do you have anything?
I don't know, no.
Kevin, you got anything? Over your neck of the woods?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. Select board member
You're
concerns.
gonna ask the clerk?
Huh?
Are you gonna ask the clerk?
Oh, I didn't even see you sitting there. Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. Next time, throw something at me.
Okay.
Okay.
You heard him.
Yeah. What's, anything on?
We have an election coming up November 5th.
Okay.
The Secretary of State is mailing out all the absentees starting this week.
This week.
So the state's mailing out.
Yes, almost 2,000 absentees.
From our town or?
Just for our
No,
town.
they're just going out for all our
100% mail-in.
checklists.
The state kept mail-in.
So we should be looking there, people should be looking in.
This week you should get it, yes.
And just to clarify, is this the deal where if we're gonna vote in person, we have to bring it with us?
You should, but you don't have to. You'd have to sign an affidavit saying you're not going to mail it in, which at that point I would have had it probably.
Yeah.
But you still have to sign the affidavit, and then you can vote here.
Okay.
Best to bring it in with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
easier that way.
All right. Sorry, Gloria.
That's okay.
So we're not gonna be like Georgia and ask for a manual count?
Absolutely not. And we're open 10 to 7 that day, like usual.
Like usual.
And you're gonna supply food.
Donuts for everybody. More than.
Art, do you have anything?
I do not.
Rob?
Nothing tonight.
Me either.
Yes, I was hoping that Cash might share a little bit more about the Coeur d'Alene project than he did, but I'll get him later and talk to him privately.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
So moved.
Second?
What are you doing?
All those in favor of the motion
Aye.
to adjourn?
I got something I want to say.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Go to it.
Yeah?
Go for it.
Real quick?
yeah.
Okay. You know the lot across from the hotel where
Where the other building was?
the other building burned down?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, this is hypothetical. I just wanted to buy you guys and see how you feel about it. Well, first of all, there's no room in the Chip and Hook Cemetery. Okay? So, I'd really like to be buried in Clarendon, and I think we don't need a permit really if you're to be buried on your own property, from what I understand about that. But I mean, I wanted to, see what you guys thought about it.
So are you proposing just for you or for?
Well,
cemetery for everybody?
I'm gonna leave it open for now. I mean, I've mentioned it to a few other people, and they came back and said they'd like to be buried there.
Yeah.
So actually kind of like create a Clarendon Springs cemetery of some sort.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, our cemetery expert is sitting right there, so maybe have a chat and come back with an idea.
Yeah, I think that's
I mean, that's Dan.
Not on this subject, just after.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Before you close the meeting.
Okay, and I would want to keep it, let's say,
Simple.
in tune with the area, okay? I would prefer, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna have the, probably 18th century or early 19th century tombstones,
Yeah.
and I mean,
keep
I
it so
want.
it fits the area.
Yeah, so it fits the area.
Would
Yeah,
it be
that's
fenced
fine.
in as well?
Pardon me?
Would it be fenced in and all these kind of things?
I don't know, I mean, people are dying to get in, so I probably have to do something.
You want to fence them out?
Are you looking for a place just for you and your family, or are you looking for a place that other people could buy a
Well,
plot?
Yeah, I mean, if I do it just for Clarendon Spring residents, or my family, yeah. I just wanted to see how you guys felt about it, you know?
Is there
Well, I
still a
guess-
foundation there?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, there's water there, there's power, everything.
Yeah, well,
They don't need water and power. But
They don't need a
the issue
septic
is they
system
can't,
either.
you know, really into concrete.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, I'd probably just to go along with gradation,
Right.
you know?
so
Keep
why
it
don't-
limited.
Why don't you
Well, we would
and,
landscape it, you know, it
Yeah.
goes up the side of the hill to the top of the pit and everything. Believe me, it would look good.
Well, as one board member, I certainly have no objection to it.
I don't either.
but I think it's a.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, from my perspective, have a converation with Kevin. I
Yep,
mean,
I agree.
obviously got to find out what regulations kick in, because I'm
Yeah.
sure the state has some, but,
Yeah.
but I think,
It can't be.
I don't have any opposition.
Does look pretty good then.
Yeah, the
And then-
lot's sitting there, yeah, so, we'll see.
Danny had something too.
Dan,
Yeah, I'd suggest on that, if that, mower's not being used for a day or two, just change the hoses.
do it.
That-
Dan,
Is it a pretty big tear down, Ed, to get to those hoses?
He thinks a day is to do them,
You gotta plan it. You gotta look at your fittings.
right?
Okay,
Make sure you got, your vendor has the fittings
yeah.
that way, but.
I mean,
Get your mowing done and get it done.
that's
Right,
when
I
you said
agree.
that, I would say as soon as it's able to, if it's gonna be down, if it's gonna rain for a couple days, it's gonna be down, and
Right.
got time, do it.
Do the chafed and the, the stressed hoses and just get
Yeah.
it done. Otherwise, you're gonna spend that much in two
That's
5
right.
gallons of fluid.
That's right.
That was just one thing. He's gonna coil stock the trim boards,
Yes,
metal?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
White?
yes.
Okay. The only thing I'd mention with the addition of foam is, I don't know if you run dehumidifiers in here. I would.
Well, we can, because we have the heat
Oh, we
pumps.
do, yes.
I was gonna say the heat pumps
The heat pumps, yeah.
act as dehumidifier.
Yeah, because, what you're gonna do is change your dew point now is gonna be inside your wall. So that's
That
where
was
your,
gonna be my question.
that's where your water droplets are gonna stop now. Because your insulation is now on the outside of the building.
So we have the potential to rot from the inside out,
On
right?
the inside, yes. Yeah.
so what's the cure?
What's that?
What's the cure?
Dehumidifiers
Make sure you're running them.
inside somehow.
Yeah,
Because
sure you're
all
running
this humid air from us just breathing.
in here.
Is that
Yeah.
constant or just certain times of the year?
Winter 35% humidity on the interior of a building. Summer 55%. Is what you want to achieve.
Since we're back to this topic, and I was gonna have a private conversation with you, but I can ask it now. He's the only vinyl siding bidder that bid,
We did have others come, and
but they
just
never submitted anything.
Right.
Okay, I was just curious. That's
Yep.
all.
So how many?
outside of last year's.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the foam's okay. Just watch. Now you just gotta watch your
You gotta
relative.
be mindful about inside.
Your interior humidity, yeah. Because now you're making it tighter.
Yeah.
That's what happens in the migration from a older home to converting it to make it tighter. Usually everybody does it on the outside. Then it basically deteriorates inside the wall. You won't know for about 12 or 15 years because it'll never show till
Later.
after it gets a lot of moisture in there, build up.
Okay.
And but
So how would that work upstairs? Here.
yeah, that's the other. Well, the basement, it's basement. It's gravel anyways right now. Should
Yeah.
have normally you should even have a dehumidifier just going. Does it have a drain down
There's a
there?
drain
Wait.
down there, isn't there?
I don't know.
In
By
that
the
little
fur-
area down there?
Isn't there a drain by the furnace?
But that's not all under here.
No, this is just,
That's just,
This
Yeah.
is sitting on
Crawl
the,
But
space.
still, it migrates right up through the floor into here. The humidity, the dampness.
No, I understand that, but do
It'd
we
be the
have
same
all of
upstairs.
that under there?
Upstairs.
We'd have to look into it.
Upstairs,
You just
right?
watch, get a humidifier, yeah, what do they call them?
I think.
Not a thermometer, but.
Yeah, thermostat type that has that on
Humidity,
it.
to measure
Yeah.
humidity.
Yeah, it measures humidity. Get it on, put it on this room, that room, and then just upstairs, and just
Watch it.
watch it, yeah.
The only thing I would say is just to wrap this all up, because I know we're about to adjourn, is just, let's do our homework. I know we're ready to jump, we wanna, but he's talking spring anyway. So
Right,
let's really make sure our homework's done before we just jump headlong into something. And make sure we get all our bases covered. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is just an inherent thing when you
That's
do
right.
make things tighter, so you just gotta be aware of that. I think that was it. That was it.
Good. Call the question here.
Wait a minute, Ed,
Oh,
what do
Ed's
you
hands
got?
up too.
Okay.
Well, the question,
The brine machine is made. Will you try it?
Say that again?
I built a brine machine. Now, the next thing is, will you try it this year?
We gotta have, I mean,
We need that.
all of us were in favor of it, I thought. I mean, the road commissioner's not sitting here right now.
Oh, I know he took off. I'm gonna talk to him about it later, but it's,
I mean, my personal opinion is we all said we wanted to potentially try it.
all the towns that's done it has cut their budget by half. So
If
think
any,
about that.
if
It's like,
anything will keep less salt on our roads,
there you go.
I'm willing to try anything, because we use way too much salt.
You
Right.
certainly do.
And this takes the plate, all it does is concentrate the salt. And other people have done it just to keep the pollution down. But our water systems are paying for it right now.
Big time.
So,
They're already
last winter
saying
would
the
have been a
salt level
perfect
in-
winter.
in Champlain is up,
Right,
so the state is gonna be after us to keep our salt down.
yeah. Yeah, so you go out and pre-treat, it'll make the salt for putting road salt on below 17 degrees. Everybody knows it doesn't work.
You
The
do.
brine will, if you get it down
You're a pretty
to
good guy.
the 13% or whatever it is, I'll have to look it back up, but. I mean, I can dissolve salt probably in less than 30 minutes, 200 gallons.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I for one, I think we gotta try something.
Yeah, I agree.
homemade thing, it'll work. A little pre-planning. I mean, you could use your sprayer, but I'd recommend I told Cash I'd let him use one of the tanks I have, just to put it in it and just drizzle
See
it
how
out.
it works.
Yeah, don't get too much into it. That's why I built what I did. It's not much in it. It was Cash's pool pump, but it does work pretty good.
Yeah, I say let's see.
I think it's worth a shot personally.
Yep.
Anyways, call the question here, Mr.
all right, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
You've got one.
Is there a second?
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?